"Here comes the bride," I muttered, watching my stepsister Vanessa float down the aisle in her designer wedding gown. The same gown I'd loaned her the money for, along with everything else in this extravagant display of wealth she couldn't actually afford. Next to me, my mother squeezed my hand nervously. She knew what was coming. She'd been there when I drafted the loan agreement, had watched me document every penny Vanessa had begged for over the past 6 months. "Rebecca," Vanessa had pleaded back then, "you're the only one with real money. Just help me have my dream wedding." What's family for? Family. Right. The same family that had mocked my boring career in finance while they lived paycheck to paycheck. The same family that had called me a penny-pinching nerd while I built my investment portfolio. The same family that now saw me as their personal bank. The ceremony was exactly what Vanessa had wanted. Obscenely expensive. The venue alone cost $20,000. The flowers another $15,000. The dress $8,000. The catering, the band, the decorations, all meticulously documented in my spreadsheets, along with the interest rates and payment terms she hadn't bothered to read. During the reception, Vanessa sashayed over to our table, champagne in hand. "Thanks for being my personal ATM, sis," she giggled, clearly tipsy. "Who knew being a boring financial analyst would make you so useful?" My mother tensed beside me, but I just smiled. "Enjoying your dream wedding? It's perfect." She twirled, showing off her dress. "Everyone's talking about how amazing everything is. Much better than Clara's wedding last month." Clara was her longtime rival from college. "I'm glad," I replied calmly. "You should enjoy it. After all, you're paying for it." She laughed, spilling champagne on her $8,000 dress. Right. With my non-existent money. Good thing I have you, loser. Now I have to go show off my centerpieces to the Martinez family. They didn't think I could afford all this." As she wobbled away, my mother turned to me. "Are you really going to do it?" I pulled out my phone, checking my calendar. "The first payment is due exactly 1 month from today. Everything's documented, signed, and notarized." "She thinks it was a gift," my mother warned. "She thinks a lot of things," I replied, watching Vanessa brag to another group about her expensive flower arrangements. "That's her problem." The following weeks played out exactly as I'd expected. Vanessa and her new husband posted endless photos of their honeymoon in the Maldives. Another loan they'd have to repay. They moved into their newly renovated house. Also financed by me, also documented. Then 1 month after the wedding, I had my assistant deliver the first invoice. My phone exploded within minutes. "Vanessa, what is this?" "Dad, we need to talk." "Stepmom, this must be a mistake." "New husband, you can't be serious." I was in my office when they all stormed in, Vanessa waving the invoice like a flag of war. "What's this 40% interest rate?" she shrieked. "This has to be a joke." I calmly opened my desk drawer and pulled out the loan agreement. The one she'd signed while gushing about table settings and flower choices. "Page 3, paragraph 2, I pointed. "The interest rate is clearly stated. As is the payment schedule, late fees, and collateral terms." "Collateral?" Her husband went pale. "What collateral?" "The house you just renovated," I replied. "And the car you bought last month. All purchased with loans from me, all properly secured." Vanessa collapsed into a chair, her designer outfit. Another unpaid debt, crumpling. But we're family." "Yes," I agreed, pulling out more documents. "And family should read what they sign. Like this credit card application you submitted last week? Declined. Seems your debt-to-income ratio is a bit high now." "You can't do this," she whispered, but there was fear replacing the usual entitlement in her voice. "Actually, I can. And I am. First payment is due today. Cash, check, or wire transfer, your choice." The silence in my office was deafening. My stepmom Linda was the first to recover. "Sweetie," she tried, using the condescending tone I'd endured since she married my father. "Surely we can work something out. Family doesn't charge family interest." I pulled up a spreadsheet on my desktop, turning the monitor so they could all see it. "Let's review the numbers, shall we? Wedding venue, $20,000. Flowers, $15,000. Dress, $8,000. Catering, $12,000. Band, $5,000. Decorations, $7,000. Honeymoon, $18,000. House renovations, $85,000. New car, $45,000. Plus various smaller expenses totaling approximately $35,000. Their faces grew increasingly pale as I scrolled through the itemized list. Total borrowed, $250,000. With 40% annual interest compounded monthly, your first payment due today is $8,333.33. $8,000? Vanessa's husband Mark looked like he might faint. Monthly. Plus any additional fees or penalties for late payment, I confirmed. As clearly stated in the agreement you both signed. But that's more than our monthly income. Vanessa wailed. Perhaps you should have thought about that before borrowing $250,000 for Instagram-worthy photos. My father stepped forward, trying to take control of the situation. Rebecca, be reasonable. They just got married. They're starting their life together. Starting their life with massive debt was their choice, I replied. Just like mocking my career choices was their choice. How did you put it, Vanessa? Thank God for my boring stepsister, the A-team. She had the grace to look embarrassed. I was just joking. Were you joking when you told everyone at your wedding that I was your personal bank? Or when you bragged to the Martinez family about how you could afford everything because your rich stepsister had no life? My phone buzzed with a message from my assistant. Legal team standing by. Foreclosure documents prepared if needed. You can't really expect us to pay this, Mark protested. It's insane. I leaned back in my chair. Actually, I do. And if you check Section 7 of the loan agreement, you'll see that failure to make timely payments will result in immediate collection proceedings, including property seizure. Property seizure? Linda gasped. You take their house? And the car, I nodded. Both were purchased with secured loans. Did you think all those documents you signed were just wedding planning details? Vanessa was crying now, her expensive makeup running. Why are you doing this to us? I'm not doing anything to you. I'm simply collecting on a legal debt. The same way I've built my boring career, by understanding numbers, contracts, and consequences. My father tried a different approach. How about we discuss a more reasonable interest rate? Something fair. Fair. I pulled up another document. Like when you borrowed money for Linda's medical bills last year. I charged you 3% interest because you actually read the agreement and had a payment plan. Or when Tommy needed help with college. He got 5% because he showed me his budget and financial planning. They stared at me. Different loans have different rates based on risk assessment. Vanessa's spending habits, credit history, and complete disregard for financial responsibility made her a high-risk borrower. The 40% rate reflects that. But we can't pay it. Vanessa sobbed. You have options, I replied calmly. Sell the house, move somewhere affordable. Return the car, get something within your means. Cancel the country club membership you just signed up for. Or what? Mark asked desperately. Or we can renegotiate the terms. With some conditions. They all leaned forward eagerly. First, I held up a finger. You both take a financial management course. One I'll choose. Second, you meet with my financial advisor to create a realistic budget. Third, you stop living beyond your means and trying to compete with people like the Martinezes. That's it? Linda asked suspiciously. No. I turned to Vanessa. You also publicly admit to everyone, including your social media followers, exactly how you afforded this lifestyle. No more pretending you're independently wealthy. No more mocking my career choices. Vanessa's perfect world crumbled over the next few weeks. Her carefully curated social media image of luxury and privilege gave way to reality as she followed my conditions. Her first Instagram post was particularly painful for her. Time for some honest truth. My recent lifestyle, the dream wedding, the honeymoon, the house, was all funded by loans from my stepsister. The same boring financial analyst I used to mock. Now I'm learning about financial responsibility the hard way. #reality check, #financial literacy. The reactions were immediate. Claire Martinez. Wait, you mean it was all borrowed money? Face screaming in fear. Former bridesmaids. No wonder the interest rate is so high. Grimacing face. College friends. Talk about a wake-up call. My phone buzzed with a message from my financial advisor. Your stepsister and her husband just finished their first budget planning session. It was enlightening. I smiled, remembering my own journey from careful saver to successful investor. The lessons hadn't always been easy, but they'd been worth learning. The next family dinner was notably different. Gone were Vanessa's designer clothes and Mark's expensive watch. They arrived in their new used car, a sensible Honda replacing the BMW they'd had to return. How was the financial management class? I asked as we sat down to eat. Vanessa pushed her food around the plate. Humiliating. We had to share our spending habits with the group. Do you know what the instructor said when I told him about my wedding flowers? That $15,000 on flowers might have been better invested? He actually calculated what that money would be worth in retirement savings, Mark added. It was eye-opening. My father cleared his throat. Rebecca, about the interest rate renegotiation. Have they met all my conditions? I asked, though I already knew the answer. Yes, Vanessa said quietly. Public admission posted. Financial classes attended. Budget created. And, she swallowed hard, I've started looking for a job. This was new information. Oh. The financial advisor suggested both of us need to work to meet even the reduced payments. So I'm interviewing at Morton Financial next week. In their client services department. I raised an eyebrow. Morton Financial was a respected firm, known for their strict hiring standards. That's actually impressive. Well, she managed a small smile. I figured if my boring stepsister could succeed in finance, maybe I could learn too. Linda nearly dropped her fork. Are you feeling okay, honey? I'm feeling realistic, Vanessa replied. For the first time in, maybe ever. I pulled out my tablet and opened the new loan agreement I'd had prepared. In that case, let's discuss the revised terms. The numbers were still significant but manageable. 8% interest, extended payment period, strict conditions about future spending. Monthly payments will be $2,800, I explained. Assuming you both stick to the budget plan, it's doable with your combined income once Vanessa starts working. That's generous, Mark said cautiously. It's conditional, I corrected. One missed payment, one unauthorized luxury purchase, one attempt to hide financial activity, and we revert to the original terms. We understand, Vanessa nodded. Really understand this time. Over the next year I watched my stepsister transform. The designer clothes were consigned to pay down debt. The social media bragging was replaced by posts about financial literacy and living within your means. She even started a blog about her journey from financial disaster to responsibility. One day she came to my office without an appointment. For a moment, I worried she'd relapsed into her old spending habits. I got promoted, she announced without preamble. Junior account manager at Morton. And I wanted to show you something. She handed me a spreadsheet, a detailed analysis of her and Mark's spending, saving and debt repayment progress. I made this myself, she said proudly. Used everything I learned in those classes you made me take. We're actually ahead on our payments now. I reviewed the numbers, impressed despite myself. This is good work. Very thorough. I learned from the best, she replied. Even if I was too stupid to realize it before. Looking at her now, sensible clothes, practical shoes, pride from actual achievement rather than spending, I realized something had shifted.